Prabhupada had talked about there being people in our movement who aren't devotees, that they're here for ulterior motives. And there was one person in particular on 2 occasions that he pointed out to me was of that mind. Someone who was very charismatic, very powerful, held a high position. Once he told me that he said he had been ill, and he said, all my disciples were praying for me to get well, except for this person, and he was praying for my death so he could take over. And another time there was, you probably remember the GBC disbanding back. There was a bunch of stuff that came up. I was traveling with Prabhupada, and the information came that there had been a rezoning of the world and that different people had taken different positions, and he heard about it and he became furious. He said, this is total nonsense. And he pointed out this person. He said, this person has spearheaded this just because he wants to take over the world. And I remember at that time he said, send a telegram to every center telling them that the GBC is temporarily disbanded. The temple president is the only authority at this time until further notice. He said, you don't need to send anything to New Vrindavan, because at that time he really trusted in Kirtanananda Swami. And he also said, now call Karandar and find out what the truth is. He had implicit faith in Karandar. He turned to Karandar as in many ways as an equal, as I saw it, as someone who was so totally trustworthy in his management and in his ability to be Krishna conscious around all this stuff. But this person was in Vrindavan. I was in Vrindavan 2 weeks before Prabhupada passed. And they asked me to act as his guard. So I was there as his guard and was very moved. As many devotees have probably told you, the situation was very intense, very heavy. Prabhupada's body was very frail. And Brother Bharadwaj was singing beautifully, as he always did. Prabhupada absolutely loved Bharadwaj and his singing. He would listen to Bharadwaj and Yamuna Devi, and when he would hear them sing, he would go into trance. He would just listen. Sometimes he would call me and ask me to put on the Govindam album, when it was a record, and he would sit and listen to Jamuna Devi singing Govindam, and he would just go into trance. He would say, this is so beautiful. She is such a devotional person. And he would say the same about Bharadwaj. He loved his singing. And so Bharadwaj was singing one day for Prabhupada, and it was a very somber mood. He was in his room, the devotees were all gathered around, everyone was sitting on the floor except this person who was sitting on a chair. And Bharadwaj was singing and he hit a note where his voice broke. He was emotional. And this person elbowed him and laughed and made fun of his making a mistake. This person was a singer and a musician himself. And I realized that I have a situation here that I have to decide what to do. I'm Prabhupada's guard. Prabhupada has told me this person is praying for his death. I see him in that mood. What do I do? So the alternatives were there. Either kill the person or go to the senior godbrothers and share what I knew. Of course, the first one was out. So the second one, I thought about it and I thought I wouldn't be heard. He wields power and I don't in the same way. And the third alternative was to leave because I couldn't see it. I couldn't be there and see that. So I left. And at that time, Kirtanananda was there very, very sincerely spearheading the group of devotees who were begging Prabhupada to stay. Please, Prabhupada, we can't do this without you right now. We're not advanced enough. We need you here. And I remember him crying and begging Prabhupada to stay. And Prabhupada just yawned. He said, all right, I'll stay. So because he said that, I thought he was going to stay. And I just realized I don't want to stir up trouble in this special time, and I can't watch it. So I left Vrindavan and left India. And 2 weeks later, Prabhupada passed.